What's going on, everyone? The international break is almost over. How are we all? Good to see loads of you in the chat already. I know there's people already talking about Martial and Digne. Not going to get it right. You're just going to have to get over it. So look, we'll talk about them a bit. I'll try not to talk about them for the whole stream, because I know it'll probably get a bit boring. We've been talking about it for 2 weeks. That's the problem with international breaks. People latch on to certain things. I said on Twitter today, like, the Martial stuff is getting a bit ridiculous. People are so either pro or for or against him. Like, he's just a good pick. He's nothing out of this world. He'd probably not score as many points over the coming weeks, but if he regresses a bit, whatever. Moustache is awful. It's doing my head in. I was even telling my kid off the other day and thinking, he's just looking at me like, just can't take it seriously. But it is for charity, for Movember, men's mental health and general health charity. So I've got to have this for another 8 more days, and then it comes off. We go back to clean shaven and start growing the beard again, which, as you can tell, takes a while. So if anyone can donate, the links are in the description below. Thanks to everyone that has so far. And I will just quickly, I just want to bring up I'm not even logged in, lads. I just want to quickly bring up my page because people have donated since the last stream. And it's only fair that they get read out just like everyone else. You went for Lindelof. We'll talk about Lindelof in a minute. Spoiler alert, I don't think he's a good option. Well, I think there's better options. So since I can't remember who the last person was, we'll just... Mike Gascoigne, thanks very much. Scott Barry. Luke in the chat. Luke Porteous, always in the chat. Usually at the gym. Colin Marks and Alex Campanelli. Thanks all very much for your donations. We're at 350 now. If we get to 500 before the end of November, that would be awesome. And then you won't have to... I'll still look a bit weird after November, but hopefully a little bit less weird. There you go. See, he is at the gym. All right. Let's get into the chat. Anything apart from Mendy and Martial? Anyone thinking about anything different than those two? Mendy replacements, bringing Martial or not? There is 5 polls for tonight, which do centre around those two players. So Gameweek 13 captain. Is Mendy worth taking out for a hit? A few people eyeing that up. Best Mendy replacement that's not Robertson or Alonso, because I feel like those two are the most obvious probably. Although, not too interested in Robertson myself right now, given his price. If you got him in at 6 and you've kept him, then fair enough. But 6.5, a lot of money. How many hits are you taking for Game Week 13, and what are you doing with Martial? They are the polls, so have a vote on them if you can. I've left my team up in what I'm doing, so I'm going to bring Martial in for Ward, unless Mourinho says that he's not fit, not able to play, but he was pictured in training. I'm actually going to lose 0.1 million if Mendy drops, but I'm going to let him drop, just in case there's other news to worry about. So I'm going to lose 0.1 million, whatever, and I'm looking at replacing Mendy. And I said on the video yesterday I was looking at Digne, and I probably still am. But what I've realised since is if I get Diop, who's 4.3 million, then I'll be able to afford Aguero to Kane in one move. And I'm not saying I would definitely do that, but it'd be nice to have that money in the bank ready to do it in one move. So that's what I'm currently looking at. So after not trying to discuss Martial and Mendy, I already have, so I'm sorry. Can we quickly discuss Wolves' attacking options apart from Jimenez? Do they have any? Matt Doherty? Who are you thinking of going for? Sterling captains, where are you? There must be quite a few, I'd say. When is the next wildcard active? You'd have to check the rules to be sure, but it's basically second half of the season. I don't know the exact date. It should be game week 20 onwards, I assume. Kane on 3 yellows. I mean, he'd have to get 2 yellows in the next 2 games and then miss the third one, which would be the start of the good fixtures. But having worried about Costa getting his 5th yellow a few seasons back and him going absolutely nuts, and I basically missed out on loads of points worried about a yellow card. I will not worry about Kane on 3 at all. Jota scored twice on international duty. Maybe he's back. I mean, I don't know if Jota can be back because he was never really here. What's up, Matt? Yeah, I saw you going for top 100 Captain Richarlison. We'll talk about that soon as well. I'm probably not doing it, but at the same time, it's that kind of captain call you need to make if you want to. I think if you want to win FPL, they're the kind of moves you make. In a game week where there's maybe not a standout, maybe you do go for Richarlison. But I'm probably going to keep with my main man, Salah. He's just done so well for me. A lot of people saying he's not worth the money still. Look, maybe that's true, but for me, the consistency is what I'm paying for. Although I do think West Ham's probably the slightly easier fixture between that and Watford. My work mini league rival is 23rd in the world. He wasn't even top 500k last season. Ouch. It does suck when you have someone in your league that's doing that well. I had that last year in a work league. The guy ahead of me was just, for the whole season, he was right up there. I just could never catch him. Does your captaincy this week really depend on your rank? I've got to be honest, I've not really thought about that at all. I haven't taken my rank into account whatsoever. I don't tend to do that too much this early on in the season. I think there's so many weeks left to go. Now, I'm not usually up this high in the ranks. And there's obviously people a lot higher. There's 7,496 people higher than me. So perhaps they've got a different point of view. But Matt, who was just commenting then, is going for top 100 and he's going for Richarlison. So he's going for it. Well, he can probably explain in the chat to you whether he's just going for it or whether he generally thinks he's the best option. But for me, that's a bit of a differential call. And if it pays off, that's big rank boost. West Ham 11-1 at the bookies. Yeah, that's to win, obviously, isn't it? I mean, no one thinks West Ham are winning, that's for sure. Just how many goals will they concede? Is Doherty's injury going to stop him? So I think he's back in training. I think FPL General found a clip, or someone tweeted FPL General a clip saying he was back in training. I'd say he's probably going to be right, but I don't think they've had a press conference yet, so let's just wait and see what they say tomorrow. I get the impression Salah is a defensive captain, whereas Richarlison is an aggressive one. For me, I'm trying not to play like that. At least not this early on. I'm not worrying about who's gonna. I just think Salah scores points and he's so consistent. It's not even a fear pick. I feel pretty happy that this year I've not really played with too much fear so far. I've done that before with Kane, where I felt like I've had to captain him every week. But I think the fact that Salah and Aguero rotated so well, it's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like, last year you felt like you had to captain one of them. Because we've been able to swap, it's almost like that weight's been lifted. Because I haven't had to captain, or wanted to captain Salah every week, I feel like if I didn't want to do it again, I could go ahead with it. So next week I'll probably captain Hazard. I just think Salah is probably the best option I have. Here we go. So Matt sold Mane for Martial this week. Looking at Everton, they spanked teams at home when Richarlison starts. Look at the game he missed, they were significantly weaker. Fair enough. Okay, let's have a quick look. I've got to update the Movember page as well. Big donations. Matt himself donating, thanks very much. Melissa Brooks, thanks for the support. I still need to do a Patreon update, by the way, about October, who won and stuff. It was Melissa, spoiler alert. I should have really done that in international break, shouldn't I? So bad. And Tom Johnson, thanks very much, who I think is physio. FPL physio, so thanks very much for those. 390, only 110 away now from 500. Hopefully we can hit that before the end of November. What was I checking? Oh yeah, Richarlison. Look, we're not even talking about Martial and Mendy yet. Okay, so which was the games he missed? He missed the Huddersfield one, they only scored 1. He missed the West Ham game, they only scored 1. He played against Southampton, they scored 2. Fulham 3, Palace 2, and Brighton 3. Yeah, so they have scored a few more goals while he's been playing. That's a good point, well made. It does feel wrong. Yeah, that's the point I made in the video yesterday. Was I feel like people are not captaining Salah and Aguero for the wrong reasons. Their away form seems to be the main thing. But when I look at the fixtures for the away form, I just think they were mostly top 6 teams they played against. Of course, there was a blank in there for Aguero against Wolves, I think, and Salah against Leicester. But other than that, they've only blanked against top 6 teams, and I would put money on the fact that they won't blank in the next 2. I mean, they might blank once, but not in both of the next 2 away games. I just don't think it will happen. Getting D up means game week 15 onwards, you go without any Man City asset. Not necessarily. I've not. The thing, if I get D up, it's just. I mean, the question is there much difference between Diop and Digne? Digne is probably a bit more attacking. Diop, if they get, looking at the bonus points, the baseline bonus, if they get a clean sheet and it's not a very high scoring match, then Diop's going to be up there for the bonus straight away, which I quite like. But the thing is just having that flexibility to do Aguero to Kane in one move. But in no way do I have that penciled in yet. I just think Kane needs to show a bit more. I did say on Twitter, the idea is not... Because someone tweeted me saying they're going to wait until Kane's got 2 braces and then get him in. But obviously the aim is to get him in before he does that. But I just want to see him and Spurs do a bit better, even if it's against tougher teams. I just think because Ali and Eriksen and Son have been just not available for so much of the season, they haven't really got going. So that's basically... I'm not penciling that in. But I would like to set myself up to be able to do that. How's it going, Ian? Nice to have you, as they say, the lads say. We know what Salah can do. Pretty sure City stick 4 past West. They stuck 4 past West Ham away. Yeah, Liverpool and Man City both going to win, you'd imagine. I mean, you don't need me to sit here and tell you that. I think everyone knows that. Doherty for Johnny or Yedlin? Well, Johnny's injured. I mean, that's an easy option. Johnny's injured, Yedlin's not. And Newcastle got pretty okay fixtures coming up as well. Fixture breakdown video coming out later on FPL Centre. Check that out. Surprised at how difficult Watford could be. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I don't actually tend to overthink these things too much. I know that Watford can be good on their day. Foster's a good keeper. But to me, I just think... I look at it, it's just West Ham and Watford. They're good fixtures for the best 2 teams in the league. Is it Fulham at home before Ranieri come in? No. Is it Cardiff at home? No, it's not that either. But they're good fixtures, so I'm not going to worry about captaining them. I mean, you could... I'm not... I do look at stats for certain things, but for this, I try and keep it simple. I think they're okay fixtures. And just because they're away is not the end of the world, given the away matches they've played so far. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see that video and see what the deal is with Watford. Sané time now when Mendy is out could be a huge differential if he gets minutes. I mean, you kind of answer what I would say on that in your last bit there, if he gets minutes. So I would fully agree that now that Mendy's out for a little while, that Sané's probably got more chance of getting in that team. I don't think it means he's guaranteed to play every week necessarily, and he's 9.2 million, so it's not a cheap... I wouldn't even call it a punt, but it's not a cheap route into that Man City attack. If you look at the likes of Hazard, you don't necessarily need Salah, I suppose. You could get Sané in for him, but Sterling's an option as well. De Bruyne when he's back. But Sané, if he does play, he's great. I can't deny that. I think for 9.2 million, I want to be a bit more sure. I want to be a bit more sure about his points, but at the same time, given how well Man City players do when they do play, you can probably get away with the odd benching, especially if you've got a decent bench. And I think one thing to say on decent benches is, I think when people look at that, over Christmas, do I need a decent bench? They think about how expensive the player is, but I think for me, if you've just got players that play, preferably with good fixtures, then that's the way. Like for me, my bench is Doherty or Alexander-Arnold, whichever one you want to put on the bench that week, and Wan-Bissaka plus it's going to be Dean Garner. So fingers crossed, always went fingers crossed, then Dean Garner plays again this week, and then my bench is looking okay. Tash on point. I mean, the Tash is awful, let's be honest. I'm not pretending otherwise, that's for sure. I hate it. I hate it. But look, like I said at the start of the stream, it's for charity. I'll keep it for a few more days. You've had Jimenez a while now, right? Would you ever captain him? I mean, if I was going to captain him, it'd probably be this week. But no, I don't think so. I mean, he's done really well since I've had him in. That is probably one of the best decisions I've made this season. When I wildcarded, I was looking at Ings. Most people were getting Ings, and I got him instead. And I think since game week 5, he scored like 2 points per game more, or 2 points per week more than Ings. Obviously, Ings missed 1 or 2 here or there. But yeah, Jimenez has just been great. But I just think I'm really happy with him as a third striker. I'm just not... I'm never going to captain him, I don't think. I just think that, you know, Salah and Aguero have been so consistent this season. And I do think they'll perform better away with the fixture they got coming up. That I'll go for them. Balbuena as a differential. There's something about the West Ham defence which makes you think we've been here before. It's a bad idea, but they have got really nice fixtures coming up. Obviously, you don't really want to play them this week because they play Man City. But after that, I think they've got... Someone correct me if I'm wrong. In fact, I can just check. I think they've got no top 6 team until the new year. Or is it 1? Is it Arsenal? Yeah, they don't play a top 6 team until Arsenal in game week 22. So it's like 5, 6... It's 8 fixtures. So they're really nice fixtures. So I am pretty tempted by a West Ham defender instead of Digne. And all it will mean is that I just play Alexander-Arnold this week, because currently I'm going to bench him if I bring in Digne. You know, Alexander-Arnold I've still not decided on. Now Lovren's kind of back and fit. I'll wait and see what happens with that Liverpool defence. You're on Fabianski, set and forget. Yeah, I think, again, said it in the video yesterday, I think that Fabianski, if you're going to go for a West Ham defensive option, he's probably the best. But Balbuena 4.4 and Diop 4.3. Okay picks. How many returns are we expecting in the good spell? I mean, if you look at their fixtures, Cardiff, Palace, Watford and Brighton at home, and then away games against Newcastle, Fulham, Southampton. I mean, I'd want, in 8 game weeks, 3 or 4 clean sheets. 50% is probably pushing it. But I think Diop, like I said, if they can get a clean sheet, he'll be straight in the bonus points, 2 or 3. Obviously, it depends how many goals they've scored. If they've scored a few, then you'd expect Arnautovic to start mopping up bonus as well. But Balbuena's pretty good goal threat too. So, I don't know. I mean, sometimes I think that going for the bonus option is the sensible pick, but I'd probably go Balbuena for the goal threat. So, are they decent punts? I think you're probably hoping more than expecting clean sheets, but I just think given the fixtures, they're worth a punt. Danny Ward is going to play this week. He may be playing. Is he? Is he going to play? I think I've got to get rid of him and keep Dean Garner though, and hope for the best. Am I benching Arnautovic? No, I don't really like benching attackers, to be honest. Even against Man City. Even Ings got a goal against Man City, didn't he? I mean, it wasn't open play, but whatever. Leicester fixtures do look good. Yeah, I think I'm probably overlooking Ricardo and Chilwell. Oh Jesus, the donations have gone up again. Let me just double check here. Justin Wang, thanks very much. I do read the comments underneath, by the way, but I won't read them all out on stream because it will take up. Oh, you're a Thanksgiving Day. Oh yeah, happy Thanksgiving to everyone kind of celebrating. And basically, I mean, as someone from the UK and who lives in Ireland, I mean, we don't really have a clue what Thanksgiving is. But I've watched plenty of American shows and films, and it just looks like another day. It just looks like a second day where you get Christmas dinner, which is amazing. I was actually just saying today in work, I find it a bit annoying that we took on Halloween, but we didn't take on Thanksgiving. Because, I mean, having an extra Christmas dinner, perfect. Anyway, yeah, thanks Justin Wang and Jeff Fletcher. We are now up to 440. We could even get to 500 in this stream. And one more shout out. So one of my mates one of my mates pinged me today or messaged me and said that he's just found out that in his FPL group, like a work thing, I think, that 3 people watch the stream, although he's only given me the names of 2. So I have to give him a shout out. Matt Cole and Tom Brookman. They both asked me questions for the stream, and I didn't put them in the poll, so, life sucks. And they asked me to read out the name of their cup, which is geniusly named and very inventive Fantasy Football Cup. So there you go. Make sure you donate now to the November page. I'd happily replace the turkey for a giant pig in blanket. Excellent. Really testing that pop filter. I do apologise. It was a bit close then. I don't have a pop filter. I do have one, but I don't have it set up. Maybe I should. I want to bring in Matt Doherty, but if he doesn't play, my bench options are Wan-Bissaka and Balbuena. Well, you got to just wait for the press conference. What's a good platform to build from at this stage? What do you mean? Vardy injured. I can't remember what the injury was, but I read the tweet earlier. Basically said he's back in training, I think, and they're going to look at him tomorrow. But he only got back in training I think today. So the thing is, they've had the press conference now, so you're basically relying on one of the in the knows or maybe one of the journalists to kind of say whether they're going to play or not. Who are the essential? He trains today. Okay, there you go. So he should be okay, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna check on him tomorrow, is what they said. A question related to draft: would you hold Mendy or waiver out? I gotta be honest, I don't have too much experience with draft games. I tend to start them, and then the leagues I play in never carry on. I mean, he's gonna be. It sounds like he's gonna be out to the new year. That's like 8 or 9 fixtures he's gonna miss. That's like a quarter of the season. I would be tempted to get rid of him, depending on who's on offer. Obviously, just keep a very close eye when he's near return, and maybe even try and get him back a few weeks before he returns. But obviously, other people will be looking at him as soon as you drop him. Luke Shaw will become essential. I'm not sure about that. Now, someone mentioned Lindelof at the start of the stream. I did look at him. Because obviously, Man United defender, they've got pretty good fixtures. Not kept many clean sheets, but I just don't see that continuing. The clean sheets are coming, I think. Although, they have conceded loads of shots. I think it's last 4 weeks or something. I was looking on Fantasy Football Scout earlier. I think they're second for... someone probably correct me in the chat. It's either second for the total shots or shots in the box or something like that. So, they're giving up a lot of chances. They did play Man City, I suppose, recently. But yeah, I looked at Lindelof, but he's not had a shot or a touch in the box in the last 4 weeks. He's 4.8 million. Bonus wise, he might do okay, and you'd have to think Man United probably aren't going to score 3, 4, 5 goals in a match. And I would like Shaw potentially, but he's obviously suspended this week. So I want to go for a Man United defender. I'm sure you all know if you've watched the streams before that I like to get a Man United player in if I can. I'll get in Martial, but I just can't bring myself to bring in a defender. Lindelof just not for me. I just think Digne is probably a better option. And I saw FPL Connect talking about Keane versus Digne, and they summed it up. And I think I said it on the video yesterday. It's basically Keane has the goal threat, Digne has the assist threat. Obviously, goals are worth more, so potentially Keane's the way to go. But he's 5 million. I'd probably stick with Digne, I think. The other worry is that Keane doesn't keep his place, and maybe they play Zuma and Mina. That does seem unlikely, given Keane's been there, I think, for the whole season. And they might play 3 centre backs, which would put Digne as a left wing back. So we'll see what happens there. But for me, I'd probably still looking at Digne. Don't do it. You've done so well. Don't take in Man United players and ruin it all. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about it. Well, Martial, I think, is okay. It almost feels like holding hands because everyone else is going for Martial as well. It feels like okay. It feels like I could do it too, even though he's a Man United player. I've been burned before. Martial or Richarlison? Now that is a good question. I think you want Richarlison for this week, don't you? Let me just double check the fixtures. Can't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, Richarlison has 3 nice ones the next 4, of course, because he has the same as Digne. I forgot about that. And then Man United. I think Richarlison, if I'm honest. I must admit that Fulham game is standing out for Man United, but we don't know what they're going to be like under Ranieri, so we don't know if that's going to be such a good fixture as it was before. So I think I'd go for Richarlison, and he's less money as well. What's the solid rank to build from to get top 1k? There's probably people that can speak from experience, but I'd say even if you're in like the top 500k, you can probably still get there. There's still two-thirds of a season left, more than that. So you get some big rank increases. You've not probably used chips and stuff yet, which other people at top have as well. So yeah, top 500k could probably get 1k. It'd be tough. Would it 500k to 1k now? I mean, it would be really tough. I'm sure people have got some stories in the chat of how much they went up towards the end of the seasons and stuff. Top 100k can't make 1k. Is that? We'll see. How far away would they be? That's the question. I'd have to work it out. I don't know how far 500k is away from 1k right now. Remove Trippier for Laporte or someone else. The question is, can your team withhold... Do you have to make that transfer? Because Trippier does have some good fixtures coming up. You're around 20k now of all chip rips, mate. Well, yeah, you can definitely get 1k now. Absolutely. Martial for a hit or Richarlison for it. Yeah, I think I've kind of already... Just to answer that, I think... I don't know, Martial feels like the more exciting option, but because Richarlison's quite well owned, I'd assume... Let me just double check before I talk rubbish. Richarlison's in by 27. Martial must be lower, surely. Yeah, 12. Martial feels like a bit more of an exciting pick, but I think Richarlison, with the money saved, the fixtures they've got, nailed, like people have said, I think he would be the better option. But all I'll say is I'm very happy to have both. Any chance of captain Richarlison this week? I don't think so. I'll leave that for other people. I hope it goes well for them so I get some points too. Any deadline day stream this Saturday? I'll just say potentially. Because I have noted that there's some big fixtures on at 3. And there's no early kickoff. So if I'm around, if I'm home, then I'll probably do one. But I'm not going to... not go and do something just to do that. So if I'm around, I will, but I won't confirm it until much closer to the time. Yeah, I did enjoy it last time. Just a minute for you. Matty Ryan is going to play in the Asian Cup, which means either David Button or Jason Steele, both from William, will play for Brighton. Yeah, that's why I've got Button in, because he was second choice, but and then he got injured or whatever. So I'm hoping Button will be second choice going into that period. I may make a goalkeeper switch around that time. I'm looking at maybe someone like Leno. I'll have to look at the fixtures I like around that time. If you knew Trent would start, would you play him over on Arnautovic? Good question, but I think I'll always start Arnautovic. Assuming you're getting Stones in defence instead of Mendy. I'm not, no. Yeah, the Button flag has gone. Hopefully, on the next team sheet, he'll be on there and Steele won't. Although, how many players can you have on the subs bench these days? Not even sure. My starting 11 will be Alonso, Doherty, whoever I probably... Well... It's Alonso and Doherty, definitely. And then it'll be Trent if I bring in a West Ham defender. It'll be Digne if I bring in him. Then bench Dean Garner. That's it. Okay, 7 subs, 1 keeper. Yeah, okay. So hopefully Button will be on there. straight back in. Played my 3 hits day. Was that smart? I mean, hopefully you'll nail it, and then yes, it will be smart. But depends on what your team was like, I suppose. If you've already played it though, it's too late, I think, to cancel it. Johnny replacement. I mean, it depends how much money you got to spend. I'm not sure. I can't remember what the backup is called now. It begins with a V. I'm not sure about going for him because I feel like over Christmas the game weeks come pretty quick, and you're going to want to, you know, if Johnny comes back, then he's probably going to get straight back in the side, and then you've got another transfer to make. And I don't know. I'm just not sure about taking the punt there. So I'd probably go, depending on how much money you got, like a West Ham defender or something like that, possibly. Or Doherty, if you can afford to make that switch. Don't sell Shaqiri. He's undroppable at the moment. I mean, yeah, I'm not a Liverpool fan, but do you really think he's undroppable? That he definitely won't miss out? It seems like a big call to me. I'm not so sure. I think a lot of people that brought him in for a 1 week punt, and now maybe they're keeping him because they got other stuff to manage, which is always the problem when you make 1 week punts. But I'm just not sure about long term with him. The polls haven't been read out yet. No. Make sure you vote on them though if you haven't already. There's 5 altogether, and while you're doing that, feel free, if you please, to like the stream. Be much appreciated. Love the mustache, and you should keep it. Yeah, my missus would kill me for a start. Ooh. Where does it tell you how many people have used chips? There's sites like FPL Discovery that will show you that. He's playing really well in the Coutinho Ox role. Yeah, I'm not saying he's not doing well, but I don't think you can say that he's suddenly undroppable and he's going to play every game. Maybe he will. I think that if you've got him, you're probably going to hold him for a little bit. Especially if you've got Mendy and stuff to deal with. One thing I will say about Kane, and again, shouting out other people who got the assist, what I hadn't really noticed or taken into account too much, and I mean, I'll be honest, I've not looked too much about Christmas plans yet because still a little way away, but Hazard has pretty nice fixtures over the Christmas period, and this not even taken into account that maybe you've got Salah and Aguero have okay fixtures as well, but you're looking at Fulham at home, Wolves away, Brighton away, Leicester at home, Watford away, Palace away, and Southampton at home, Newcastle at home. So some good home games. There is probably a few too many away games for my liking, but Hazard definitely captain material on penalties, going to play most games, if not all of them. So I don't know if I necessarily need Kane in it. And especially as I said earlier in the stream, Spurs just not doing it at the moment. And, you know, whether that's Kane's fault, whether it's the fact that Lucas is playing up front and he's getting in Kane's way, and Son and Eriksen and Ali just haven't been fit. I just think there's too many question marks right now. So let's see how they do. Trippier's red flagged. Ouch. I forgot about that actually when someone was talking about getting rid of him earlier. Do you think Martial is or will be locked in? Do you mean to the Man United team? I think for now, a bit like the comment about Shaqiri, I think he's almost making himself undroppable because he's the only consistent attacker we have. I saw people pointing out on Twitter that, you know, the likes of Lukaku, Rashford, Sanchez, etc. have not all been fit, or not, at least not for a long period of time at the same time. I just don't think he can be. I don't think he will be dropped. Of course he could be. I just don't think he will be right now. It doesn't look like Sanchez is kind of just right in his head almost. Looks like he's having personal troubles or worries about being in Manchester. Wants to leave. So I just think Martial's got that spot locked down right now. He's in good form, good fixtures. I think he's a really good pick. Okay, apologies. I didn't realise Trippier was out. So yeah, Aurier becomes an option, but again, not for a couple of weeks. It depends how long Trippier's out for. So we'll look. Expected back December 2nd. So I mean, it's not even that far away. So let's just see how that goes. Aurier 5.8 million is probably a bit too expensive for me. That's a good point as well. Trippier out will give Eriksen set pieces again. If he can play though, he's not been playing that much recently. And I mean every week rather than every couple of weeks. Can you wear a red top with a red hat in your next stream to look like Mario? Don't know if I've got one, to be honest. I do have a red top. Definitely not got a red hat. I've got a Santa hat. What about Hector Bellerin? I like Bellerin. But I'd probably wait till game week 16 for him, because I think it's Bournemouth away next, and then I can't remember exactly what the fixtures are, but they're 2 against 2 top 6 teams. I could just look it up. Let's have a quick look. I know in my head they got 2 tough fixtures. Bournemouth away. Oh yeah, then Spurs at home, Man United away. So I probably wouldn't bring in Bellerin right now, but he is someone I would look at in game week 16. Would you sell Salah to get in Arsenal, Spurs and Man United for the upcoming fixtures? I know I'm probably going to sound like a broken record. I'm not against selling Salah, but I'm also not in any rush because the fixtures are good. I think he's captain material. He's done well for me. Let's see how his away form goes when he's got easier fixtures. So I've got no plans right now to sell Salah to get in Arsenal, Spurs or Man United for players. I mean, yes, you've got to target fixtures. I think sometimes that gets overlooked, even though it's one of the most simple things about FPL, target the fixtures. But at the same time, you still need someone from those teams to want to bring in. So for Man United, for example, I've got Martial, Lukaku, Sanchez, not really options right now. So in attack, apart from Martial, there's no one else to really even look at. So I'm not selling Salah for anyone from there. Obviously defence, but I've got their defenders are quite cheap, the likes of Lindelof and Shaw, so I could swap any of my defence for them without selling Salah. Spurs, again, Kane, yeah, maybe, but I can actually get Aguero out for Kane and keep Salah. Or even ship Salah and swap one of Arnautovic and Jimenez. I like the look of their midfielders if they were playing more consistently, Ali Eriksson, Son, etc., but they're just not. So, that could change by game week 15. It's still a bit early to be locking in plans. And the same with Arsenal, like, who'd you get? I mean, I'm not going to swap a Salah for Ozil or Ramsey or Mkhitaryan. So it's Aubameyang and Lacazette up front. I'm going to struggle to fit them in along with Aguero and Kane. So I suppose that's a very long way to say no. Right now, I'm not really looking to sell Salah. Anyone worried about Aguero getting managed? About Aguero getting, I guess you mean minutes managed against West Ham. I think Sterling's a good shout for captain. I think he missed the second England game as well, which will help him. I mean, Aguero's minutes could be managed. I mean, they've been managed for most of the season, but he's had. But let's wait and see what they say about him in the press conference, because I think there was a rumour about a groin injury or something. But he's had 2 weeks off, so yes, he'll probably be minutes might be managed 60, 70 minutes. But I mean, that's not really something we're like at this point we're used to that, I suppose. John Stone's bonus perspective. The thing with any Man City defender is they play in a team which is averaging 3 goals a game. Oh, sorry, it was the first England match that Spurs missed. My bad. What are we talking about? John Stone. Yeah, any Man City defender. The problem is that they play in a team that can that score 3 goals a game on average, and when they're scoring that many, it's very hard for defenders to pick up bonus points. Especially when the other thing is, it's not just that they score a lot of goals, but like if Liverpool score a lot of goals and Salah's involved a bit, you're never even too sure if he gets bonus. But in the Man City side, Aguero, David Silva, and players like that are really good for picking up bonus just by the way they play. So you're not likely to get much bonus, but the thing is, they're so good, they concede so few goals that you could get lots of 6 scores. And while that's boring to maybe think about, 6-6-6-6, if you get 6 4 weeks in a row, 6 points per game for 5.3 million for Stones or 6 million for Laporte, that's a good return for their money. But you have to look at what else you can do. So for me, I can afford Laporte, but I won't be able to afford Martial. So instantly, he's not an option for me. I want Martial, and so I've got to take a hit somewhere. Now I could get Stones in, but for me, I don't know. I'd want someone a bit more nailed than that, I think. But to the groin injury of Aguero, don't take that into account right now. Wait until the press conference tomorrow. I think that was only a rumour. I don't think it was ever confirmed. Edison is the solution if you just want clean sheets. I mean, I don't know if I fully agree with that. Because he's more expensive than Stones. Although, obviously, he's nailed. That's the big plus. Yeah, it's a fair point. He's nailed, but like I just think 5.5 and then getting a 4.5 defender, I think the distribution is better the other way around. To have a 4.5 million keeper and a 5 point whatever million defender. Okay. I feel like we've done okay not talking about Martial and Mendy too much. Yeah, well, if you had him for 5.5, that's fair enough. Edison was someone I nearly got in at the start of the season as well. Nearly went for. I remember tweeting that team out that had double Liverpool and double Man City defence. That would have done alright so far. Yeah, this is a retro England shirt. Not Bolton. This is the shirt of the future Nations League Cup, whatever it's called, trophy. Updates on Lacazette, don't have any right now. Transfer the mustache out, maybe. How are we doing on the polls? We'll do the polls in about 5 or so minutes. So if you haven't already voted, make sure you do. Be much appreciated. There we go. There you go. The chat's always on hand. Lacazette was seen in training. There you go. So let's have a look. What would have to be said in press conferences for you to change your mind? Martial's carrying a knock. He might not play. We're waiting on fitness. I mean, that would make me think about it. Otherwise, just injury news on defenders, really. If you're a Premier League manager, would you instruct your players to concede as many penalties as possible and captain the opposing penalties? Yeah. No, I don't think so. I think I'd be trying to win to, get that money. Get that lovely Premier League manager money. Danny Ings is out, confirmed, I believe, 2 weeks. Again, though, someone in the chat will double confirm that for me. Is there a public Let's Talk FPL League? Yes, there should be a link in the description below the stream. If you had Robertson instead of Trent with the rest of the same team, including Digne, who would you bench? Yeah, I find it harder to bench Robertson. Robertson, Alonso, Doherty. That's a really tough one. I just feel like you never want to bench Alonso. Even though he's got Tottenham away. Who else have you got? I'd even be tempted to play 4 at the back. But if you're going to play 3, I think you have to play... If you think about that you really want to play Alonso and Robertson no matter what, then they're straight in. It has to be Doherty ahead of the rest. His attacking potential is really good. As long as he's fit. Which he should be. Is Peter Crouch retired? I don't know. If Martial is out, then what's your plan? Do you know what? If Martial is out, I will probably still make a very similar defensive transfer, probably Digne, and play 4 at the back, and just leave Ward and Diangana in. Just play 4-3-3. It's probably my plan. Depends how long Martial's out for, but I feel like I still want him. Martial is in for Danny Ward. Up to what percentage owned do you consider a player a differential? So I don't know, like if I use the word differential, I'm probably looking at less than 10%, maybe even less than 5%. But for me, I think people sometimes not overlook, but they don't consider players good differentials because maybe they're owned by 20% or 30%. And as the season goes on, you got to start looking more at like what the percentage ownership is in the top 10k or whatever position you're trying to go for. That's what you need to look at. So a player might only have 10% ownership overall, but they're owned by 80% of the top. I mean, that maths probably doesn't work, but you get the point I'm trying to make. They're probably owned by 80%, whereas someone could have 50% ownership overall, but only be owned by 20% of the top 10. Now, a lot of people will say that's not a differential, but that means only 1 in every 5 managers owns that player. I think that's still pretty good. You know, if you could bring in Doherty right now and say that only this is just an example. You bring in Doherty against Huddersfield and say that only 1 in every 5 managers owns him. 20%, yeah, but so what? Every 4 managers you're playing against doesn't own him, and he looks like a great pick. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on differentials. Thinking about bringing in Coleman. Coleman is like, I've also thought about Coleman just for the nostalgia. He used to be such a legend in FPL. At least for a little bit. 5.2 million, I feel like I should snap that up. I just don't know if he's going to offer enough. If you're going to transfer in Digne, do it tonight. Either way, just do it tonight. Yeah, I'll probably just give myself thinking room, to be honest. I'm not bothered if I lose that 0.1 million. I mean, I will be when I'm trying to make a transfer in a few weeks and I'm 0.1 million short, but that's the way it is. How's it going, Lord Vader? It's going good for me. How about Mina instead of Digne? So, I can actually afford Mina anyway, but I just don't know if he's definitely going to start. Is there a website where we can check the top 100k ownership? Not sure. FPL Discovery has stats like that. I don't know if they do top 100 though. Who's your favourite FPL player from years gone by? Different players for different reasons, I suppose. Like Charlie Adams was great, Charlie Adam was great for Blackpool, getting 3 bonus points like every game, no matter what he did. Who else? Suarez was ridiculous. Captain, just captain him against Norwich, gets you like 50 points. Who else? What Man United players have been good? Can't even think. When was the last time a Man United player was good? Yes, polls very soon. Actually, we'll do polls. Do polls in 1 or 2 minutes now. So if you haven't voted, now is your chance. Yeah, the other thing with Mina is not only, you know, is the unknown represents a bit of a gamble. I don't think it's necessarily the worst thing. If you knew he was going to play, it'd be a bit different. He's also 5.4 million. He's not like a 4.5 you're taking a punt on. That's a lot of your budget spent. Is Kane a nostalgia pick? Yeah, I think he probably is right now, to be honest. I think you kind of nailed it there, Ian. But I mean, let's see what they're like over the next couple of games. And you know, he has scored points this season, maybe not enough to justify 12.5, but maybe now the fixtures are turning a bit, they'll help with his form. Yeah, Mina's goal threat. I mean, I know it's not been necessary in good leagues or whatever you want to say, but he has got a ridiculous goal record for a centre-back. Like, it's insane. So I am very tempted by him. I mean, just imagine you get him in this week and he scores a goal in your first game. I mean, that's the stuff FPL dreams are made of. Alright, let's do the polls. If you haven't voted now, well, it's too late, to be honest. Going to refresh, and then we're going to do it from there. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. It's the polls. Game week 13 captain 42% on Salah, Is that? I think that's a little bit... No, I don't know if we did this poll before. 25% on Richarlison. I'm actually a bit surprised it's that high, but fair play. Hope it works out. Only 18% on Aguero, so I guess minutes and stuff. Maybe a worry there. 6% on a different Liverpool or City attacker, so maybe Mane, Shaqiri, Sterling, whoever it might be, and 6% on someone else. Is Mendy worth taking out for a hit? 74% said yes, absolutely, definitely. And who is his best replacement? So 50% saying Doherty, better than Laporte. 23% on Laporte, 17% saying Digne or Keane, from Everton, and 8% on someone else. So yeah, Doherty, I think everyone wants him if they haven't got him. How many hits are you taking for Game Week 13? Most people are taking 0, so 56% taking 0. 34% of us are taking a hit. That's what I'm doing, -4 probably. 6% on a -8 and 2% on -12 or more. And then lastly, what are you doing about Martial? 58% of you won't own or you're going to sell him. I'm assuming most of you just not owning. You're probably not selling him this week. And then only 41% are own or buying. But that's still quite a high percentage, I think. So there you go. There is your polls. Let's quickly do the Patreon shout-outs as well. To Dean P, Marchek, Alex C, Melissa B, who donated earlier to the Movember as well. Matthew H and Hayden H, as well as Christopher M. Thank you very much. If you want to check out what that's all about, links are in the description below. Just like all the links to Movember and everything. If you've got a few quid to spare, Movember would be an awesome donation right now. We're up to 440, so 60 quid off 500. 60 quid off €500. I've still got to donate, actually. I love the Wolves and West Ham rotation for the next 8 game weeks. So cheap with someone like Bennett and Diop allows for upgrades elsewhere. Yeah, I like the sound of that. I had Bennett, actually. I think my money in defence is could be a little bit spread. Because obviously I got Doherty. But I did get Doherty for 4.4 million, so don't consider that too bad. But yeah, I'm tempted by Diop or Balbuena. Oh, Balbuena just for that goal threat. Cheers, Marcus. Much appreciated. I spoke about Spurs a bit now. I think other than Kane, you're probably looking at the likes of Eriksen, Ali, Son, Trippier maybe. But just right now, I just don't fancy any of them until we see them get a good few games under their belt. See you later, Luke. Good luck with Game Week 13. You're always in the gym. You're a good man. Good man for that. You're going triple Wolves defence and double West Ham defence. I love it. Gives me the funds to do Ings to Lacazette. I mean, that's a pretty nice upgrade. Son is a good option. I know, but they've got Lucas Moura and then they've got Lamella who's played well as well. So there's just too many options there right now. Martial will flop. I mean, I'm not looking forward to next week. People are going to get Martial in. He's going to blank, which wouldn't be too unexpected given how well he's done recently. And then people who didn't bring him in are going to go nuts, say, "We told you so," etc. Can just see it a mile off. Maybe he's just in the gym once a week. Maybe he is. Maybe he does an extra big session just once a week. I think Captain Martial is okay. A lot of people have pointed out, though, especially like Luke Disable on Twitter, that if Wan-Bissaka's playing, Martial might have some troubles because Wan-Bissaka does put in a good few tackles. Am I doing a live stream at 2:50? Not necessarily. Maybe he's a taxi driver for clients in the gym. Maybe he is. Maybe he is. Right, people, I think we're going to leave it there. Hopefully, like I said, we didn't chat about Martial and Mendy too much. I think they came up now and again. But it was pretty smooth. Talked about a few other things as well. Enjoyed that one. The international break is over. Finally. Only 2 more days now. Will there be a deadline a deadline stream on Saturday? Potentially. Let's wait and see on that. I'll confirm on Twitter if that is going ahead. If it doesn't, then good luck in Game Week 13. I'm not going to do my transfers tonight. It's almost certainly going to be Mendy to Diop, Balbuena or Digne, and Ward to Martial. Martial's definitely coming in if he's fit. So yeah, that'll be me. Me and my awful Tash will see you. When's that? Is there a Monday game? There isn't there. Burnley versus Newcastle. You'll probably see me Sunday night, especially because I would have had Doherty and Jimenez playing that day. So probably going to stream on Sunday. If you do get a chance to donate to Movember, it'd be much appreciated. It's a really good charity for men's health. We're on 440, close to 500. It'd be great to get to that before the next stream. Maybe even push for more before the end of November. Otherwise, I'll leave it there. As Adam says, I hope you all